Hi, I'm Bob Rogers, the expert in residence for artificial intelligence at the University of California, San Francisco Center for Digital Health Innovation, and I'm pleased to be here to tell you about BeeKeeperAI. BeeKeeperAI is a privacy-preserving platform for training and validating healthcare AI that we believe will accelerate the deployment of healthcare AI by 1,000x. So let me tell you why we think this is an important problem. Center for Digital Health Innovation partnered with GE to develop the world's first FDA-cleared AI on a medical device. Pictured on the left, it is a suite of AI algorithms that detect emergent conditions in chest x-rays in the ICU setting. During the course of getting this product FDA cleared, we discovered that accessing data for validation and for algorithm training was a huge challenge. Before I describe that further, let me tell you who we are in this context. My co-founders at Beekeeper are Michael Blum, MD, who is Executive Director of the Center for Digital Health Innovation and also holds a number of other executive roles at UCSF. Rachel Colcutt, MD, who is the Director of Data Science and Advanced Analytics and the Program Director at Smarter Health AI at the Center for Digital Health Innovation. Rachel is also a trauma surgeon and K Award Data Science recipient. Mary Beth Chalk, who is our Business Development Leader and a serial entrepreneur, and myself. In addition to being expert in residence for AI at UCSF, I am a member of the Board of Advisors to the Harvard Institute of Applied Computational Science, and I was previously Chief Data Scientist at Intel in the Data Center Group. So why is access to data a challenge? Well, first of all, why do we need the data? If we've developed an algorithm, and we want it to be cleared by the FDA or get a CE mark or even get acceptance from the medical community for its use as a real valid healthcare AI. We need data. We need a diverse data set that can handle all the different variations that can come up in real clinical practice. So we need not just one data set, not just two data sets, but a large number, perhaps as many as 5, different diverse data sets from different locations to cover all the diversity in patients from a biological and anatomical perspective, from a demographic perspective. We need to cover the diversity of different devices that could be collecting the data, and we need to cover the diversity of all the different ways that the data might be collected during the course of clinical care. When you take that all into account, it's a large number of data sets that one needs to assemble in order to validate and or train a robust healthcare AI algorithm. Well, so how hard could that be? Well, the challenges are data is protected. It's private. It's got legal protections, so it's challenging. Data is an organizational asset. Healthcare organizations see their data as something of value that they do not want to share and deteriorate the value of that asset. Patients have concerns about the use of their data. Raw data in healthcare organizations is sometimes not directly computable, especially if you're looking at data from different places. Information is encoded and related differently. Finally, if you're going to do validation on data sets from multiple locations and the data can't be moved, then you're going to be building bespoke computational infrastructure in a variety of different locations. So how does this play out in the real world of building AI algorithms? These projects, just the validation of an algorithm, can take 16 to 30 months. And we're seeing these projects take $1.5 to $2.5 million, again, just to validate the algorithm. This isn't even additional optimization or training. So this is an an expensive challenge. Now, to go one step further, if additional optimization is needed, so for instance, if the validation doesn't go as well as you hoped, or if you need to expand your access to data so that the algorithm is more robust, then we're talking about bringing in additional data which needs to be used to train simultaneously your algorithm, which means we need secure federated training. So it's a challenge, but is it a challenge that has a big impact if we solve it? Well, we think the market is huge. Think about all the different findings in clinical diagnostics times all the different devices that are doing those findings, times all the different developers who are creating algorithms to address those specific clinical use cases. It's a huge number of different stakeholders. And for each one of them, if they're having to spend $2.5 million just to validate, it's a huge number. Estimates say 36 billion plus in healthcare AI by 2025. And at the end of the day, in order to get consistent performance, you have to have diverse clinical data inside your algorithm. So furthermore, we know that our stakeholders are asking for help because they're telling us so. Commercial entities that have developed AI want to be able to have a faster path to market with less cost. Healthcare organizations have data. They want to utilize that data. They want their data to be used to build more AI for healthcare, but they need to protect the patient privacy. Investors who are investing in the commercial organizations who are building AI algorithms need to have their investments de-risked and want to get to market faster and more confidently. And then finally, principal investigators, researchers, and folks who are delivering care want to be able to optimize patient outcomes and really provide leadership in healthcare. So they need to be part of this game as well. So we believe that BeekeeperAI changes the conversation. So imagine an algorithm developer creates an algorithm, puts it in a container, and that container is then transmitted securely to a secure enclave. Think of it as a vault in which the data has been recorded. That data can be harmonized and transformed. It can be annotated. The data is in the vault. The algorithm comes to the data. The computation happens. And then the resulting validation report is transmitted out. No data gets out. And furthermore, not only is the data protected, but the algorithm is protected from the prying eyes of anybody in the data center. In other words, we're envisioning a zero trust environment for validating algorithms where data and algorithms are both protected. This is proprietary technology developed at UCSF in the Center for Digital Health Innovation, and which is then built upon a technical foundation from some partners that we'll talk about in a moment. So we have two major work streams going on. The first is the Zero Trust Validation work stream, in which we are building SGX enclaves, which allow secure encrypted computation in the memory space of the CPU from Intel. We're using the Fortanix runtime encryption and self-defending key management to build technology to take the algorithm, protect the data, put them together, and generate the reports. And it's all running on Microsoft Azure because Azure is a principal cloud provider for providing SGX hardware. So this first work stream, this partnership with UCSF, Intel, Fortanix, and Microsoft, is building a zero trust validation environment so that the algorithm and the data can be brought together for validation. When validation is not enough and we need to be able to do federated training on multiple data sets, then we are fortunate enough to be working with OpenMined. And I want to thank the leadership of OpenMined, Emma Blumke, Andrew Trask, and Patrick Kaysen for all their support and guidance as we develop this technology. The idea is that these individual nodes that hold the data local to the data owner's own infrastructure can be connected through PyGrid to enable finding the data sets that you need to optimize for a particular algorithm, training simultaneously on those data sets with federated training without any sharing of data, and finally orchestrating all the activities of all the stakeholders so that we can ensure that all the activities happen in a secure way, in a timely way, and still maintain privacy. At the end of the day, algorithm developers benefit from reduced cost and faster time to market because they can find the data they need, they can operate on it without building bespoke infrastructure, without developing specific contracts for different data owners. They can protect their algorithm IP, and the platform generates the artifacts that are needed to support regulatory, some of the artifacts that are needed to support regulatory submissions. On the other side, data owners benefit from being able to utilize and monetize their health system data while keeping it on their own HIPAA-compliant cloud, which is critical. Nobody wants their data to go off their own HIPAA-compliant cloud. It allows them to accelerate their clinical improvement through AI, and it creates an environment where the different data owners can participate in AI development on multiple data sets through using these shared tools and methods, which are being developed on the platform. Finally, I just want to encourage technical folks, data owners, and algorithm developers to reach out to me and Mary Beth to find out more about what we're doing, where we're going, and how you can get involved. And in the meantime, also thank you to OpenMined for inviting us to present here at this conference and for all their technical leadership and support. Also like to thank Intel, Microsoft, and Fortanix for their very generous support as well. Thank you.